Ms. Wilson, you believe the defendant, Mr. Phillips, was always unfaithful to you and still holds a flame for his ex-wife.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yet you claim he is the one who's always accused you of cheating, and he's repeatedly denied fathering your daughter, Hope.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are requesting the results of a paternity test to prove he is indeed Hope's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Phillips, you say you believe that Ms. Wilson had sexual relations with a co-worker, and it is he who fathered her 2-year-old daughter. You claim the child looks just like that co-worker and nothing like you. That man, Mr. Garcia, has also been tested and will join us in court shortly. Now, but first, Ms. Wilson, how did your relationship with Mr. Phillips go so wrong?
Well, the way we got together, just having sex. And so when you build a relationship like that.
That's pretty together.
Yeah, right. And when
so it started off as a non-committal sexual relationship.
Correct.
Okay.
And when you build a relationship like that from the beginning, of course, you're going to have extreme trust issues. And so 7 years later, we never got over our trust issues. It was you couldn't go to the store without accusing. We couldn't go
someone else of having sex or doing something. So the relationship started with sex and it ended because of sex.
Yes.
And now there's 2-year-old Hope.
Yes.
And Mr. Phillips denies that he's her father.
Yes.
So cute. Mr. Phillips?
Yes, Your Honor.
What are these doubts based upon?
We were separated at a point of time, and during that point of time, she led me to believe that I was the only man that she was sexually involved with. But she let me know she was doing the clubs and she was dating people, but she was not sexually involved with anybody.
Okay.
When one of my friends was inside the club with her, she was making love in the club. She was tongue kissing, she was grappling, she was going, to the 10 with a guy. And what made that worse
she
is
was making love in
the club. Tongue all in the mouth, holding down. just really improper and disrespectful.
Not true.
So is that true,
No,
Ms.
it's
Wilson?
not true. I was kissing my coworker, but not making love. There's a difference.
Okay.
I think I would have been arrested for that, I'm pretty sure, making love in the club.
So she was foreplaying in the club.
I was foreplaying in the club, yeah. But...
So you admit something was going on in the club?
Yeah, it was something going on in the club, but it wasn't making love. It was kissing.
With the coworker in question?
Yes.
All right.
That she introduced me to as a friend.
Oh.
This is my friend. He's holding my daughter in his arms, and approached me and shook my hands as just a basic friend.
The same man that now she's admitting to being in the club kissing?
Talk to me. Yes.
And you think he's the father?
Yes, I do. Because I have a son that is Mexican black.
So,
and
a
she's
biracial
identical
child.
to my son. They are twins.
So you have a child that's biracial?
Yes, I do.
And you say this child resembles your child, so it leads you to believe that this child is as well?
Yes. Because...
That's his imagination. Even if I did sleep with the man in question, it was my business, not his. We were not together. And I just want to let him know that.
But,
All right, this
Judge,
court isn't about cheating. It's not cheating court, it's paternity court. So whether you slept with the other man while you were in a relationship or while you were not, it's about determining who this child's father is.
Right.
So whether it's in the relationship or out of the relationship, it still could be relevant.
Right.
It is
I
relevant.
understand. It is. It's
it
very
shows
relevant.
to a character.
Yes.
And that's the reason
So
why...
tell me what happened when you were pregnant.
I got pregnant, and I told him, of course, that I got pregnant. And I understand the way that he feels because me and Sam did work together. We stayed in the same apartment complex. We took trips together. So I understand, his concern. But...
So that's your coworker?
That's my coworker, correct.
But
you admit from kissing on him in the club, you admit to going on vacation with him, you admit to hanging around with him.
Yes.
You lived in the same apartment complex.
Yes.
Mr. Phillips, that's your doubt.
I mean, even
Yes.
before that, even prior to him, the fact of the way we got together, the fact that she used to be on the phone with her man while we was having sex. You know, I mean,
What?
you know.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. She used to be on the phone.
We was living a single lifestyle, and we was just sexual partners. So when her dude used to call her, she still answered the phone to keep him comfortable, to keep him secure.
Ms. Wilson, were you talking on the phone?
Yeah, I was on the phone with a man, not my man. And he's done the same thing when I was having sex with him also.
What in the world?
It was a booty.
You,
It was a booty call situation.
I probably shouldn't say this, but how good could it be if you trying to talk on the phone? during it? I don't know. I don't know. So the bottom line is, you two established this anything goes, thrill-seeking, let's be single and have fun relationship.
Yes.
But then it backfired.
For her, she knew in my whole delivery that I was a player, that I was a bachelor, that I was living that life when she met me.
It didn't backfire for me. How did it backfire for me?
Because once we got together, I could never be trusted. She quizzed
okay,
me
yes,
on everything
yeah.
I did.
Because
and in her mind,
he was the kind of man that would have threesomes, and I forgot what they called it.
Menage a trois, swinger parties.
You know, and I wasn't a part of that lifestyle. My sexual lifestyle with him was between me and him, but he was outrageous. Sort of like a sex nympho, a sex addict, you know, where he would have a lot of women at his place. That he was a bachelor. How can you change
that's why
overnight?
they say don't judge a book by its cover,
That
because
is so
Mr.
true.
Phillips, you got your little bow tie on, looking like you might leave here and go on to church.
Yeah.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So at some point, you two made the decision that you wanted to be committed.
Correct.
And then what happens?
I was supposed to move back in with my mother, but my mother knew of his lifestyle and wanted me to completely just not have anything to do with him on that level. And so when my mother found out that I would still have something to do with him, she put me out. So when I was telling him that she put me out, he allowed me to come and move in with him. And then this is where everything gets committed and real.
So you move in with Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
And you all have a conversation and you say, you know what? I'm pregnant.
Yes.
We're living together. Let's try to make this thing work and
Yes.
have a real committed relationship. You agreed to it, Mr. Phillips.
I agreed to it.
But I didn't trust him. And then I really didn't trust him, not only because of the sex, how we started the relationship. He had recently been separated from his ex-wife, and I believed that he was still in love with his ex-wife because it was just a lot of things. We ended up moving from that apartment complex because he had slept with so many women inside the apartment complex. And so if we're starting new, we need to move somewhere else so we can start new. And so we end up moving to a different area.
So wait, you had slept with so many women in your apartment complex.
Yes.
You had to move.
Yes. When we moved into our new place, it was for a new start. We would leave everything behind. I had my baby probably about 2 months or a month after we moved in, so I didn't really get to unpack and just really get settled in. Mm-hmm. And so when I finally got the chance to get settled in, I found naked pictures of the ex-wife.
In the new house?
In the new place, in our closet.
It was things that I did not know.
Her shoes, candles that they shared together in their home. I mean, just so much stuff. So I came to him and I asked him, can you get rid of her stuff? He was supposed to gotten rid of it. He gave it to his mother to put in his mother's garage. Why are you holding on to this woman's stuff?
See, what she fails to let you know, Judge, is the fact that I had a whole photo album of nude pictures. She chose to pick the one picture of my ex and make that a subject.
That's because her degrees
are
not degrees because she.
So in other words, these weren't just naked pictures of my ex. These were just my collection of naked pictures.
My collection of naked pictures.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mr. Phillips, all I can say is don't let the bow tie fool you. In your assertion, you believe her coworker is Hope's father?
My anchor is the fact that I was lied to from the beginning. From the beginning of the
He heard what he
relationship,
wanted to
I was
hear.
bamboozled.
I'm not,
I thought I was messing with a business owner / elegant.
Wait, you
She
thought you
ended
was
up
messing
being
with a-
Compton. I was bamboozled from the beginning. And since I was lied to from the beginning, and since the lies continued on throughout the relationship, manifesting itself in her being in the club, kissing a co-worker she introduced me to as a friend, and so on, with just so many different reasons to make me believe that, yes, I have doubt
Well, first of
about
all,
my daughter.
sorry.
I'm tired of talking about him. I want to meet him. Jerome, can you please escort
Compton.
Mr. Garcia into the courtroom?
Really?
Certainly.
Thank you.
I'm going to go up to the witness stand up here.
Hello, Mr. Garcia. Thank you for joining us today. We're here regarding the paternity of young Hope, Ms. Wilson's daughter.
Right.
Mr. Phillips contends that you were with Ms. Wilson in the club, that you were kissing in the club.
I was.
Were
We
you
weren't
kissing?
She was showing me how to kiss.
I'm a good teacher. I'm a good teacher.
And that,
And she really showed me how to kiss.
so you were at school getting a lesson.
That is
Yes,
correct, Your
I
Honor.
was
You
getting a lesson.
weren't really kissing her. It was a
It
lesson.
was
Right.
a lesson. It was.
It was a
I'm a
lesson.
good kisser.
But
and
you
I can teach
admit
people how to kiss.
that you were kissing her in the club.
She was teaching me, but I was
So your
kissing.
lips were interlocked
Yes.
Yes.
in the club.
Lips,
Tongue was
tongue, and
down their
everything. Yeah.
throats. It was more than lips. It was tongue action.
You also admit to going on vacation
We
with her.
went to Vegas, yes. We slept in the same room.
Do you love Miss Wilson?
No, she's a friend.
She's a friend.
She's a friend, nothing but a friend. And she's a good friend, too.
A close friend.
Do you believe that you're the father of her child?
I am not the father of her child. Diamond is the father of the child. I'm not.
And that would be Mr. Phillips.
Phillips, yes.
Yes.
Oh, your name is Diamond? Oh.
That's the way I know him. I know him as Diamond.
I am a lady's best friend.
Oh. Ooh. I'll leave that alone. Mr. Garcia,
Yes, Your Honor.
have you ever been intimate sexually with Ms. Wilson?
No, Your Honor. Only mouth-wise kissing.
Only kissing.
And her lips only, that's it. And tongue.
So silly.
But never sexually, anything like that.
So why should Mr. Phillips be so sure that you aren't the father of her child when you admit to having this lesson
See,
and being very close, traveling together? Any man would think.
right now, it's understandable, but I'm gay, so I can't be the father.
Oh. Well, that would be a material
And I-
fact.
And we
I
never had a
thought he was a
conversation.
regular, friend of hers that was the gay friend. Now I believe he's a bisexual friend. If you're
So
attracted
you
to
saying
me,
this information that he shared right now doesn't mean anything to you?
because that's what I was under the
That's-
influence of believing in the beginning before
He
I was
always wanna
betrayed.
find fault,
So you believe, I get it. So you're saying that this is what they told you from the get-go.
And then your lip
So
locking
you think that's
tonguing.
part of the lie. So you saying Mr. Garcia came all the way here and got up on this witness stand and looked at me and
Right.
lied?
Yes, I believe that my daughter looks half Mexican. I know that they was participating inside of a sexual situation or something that looked like that. And the way she protected him when
I
I
guess
tried to
looks
go
can be
talk to
deceiving,
him,
right?
the way that,
Looks can be deceiving,
she
like I
actually
thought you were lying,
defended
and
him.
you know what?
She actually defended him
I
to
did,
me and
because you
threatened
were
to
not
put
gonna
me
go
in
fight
jail.
my coworker and make me lose my job and fight my friend for something that looked deceiving, like your ex-wife and you being in love with her.
All right,
and
let's get some order. Let's
He
get some
wasn't
order.
kissing.
Let's get some order. The only way we're gonna get down to the bottom of this is to get the results, and we have them. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. Are you sure you're ready for this, Mr. Phillips? You seem quite emotional. What are you feeling?
And you can read it.
In the case of Wilson versus Phillips, when it comes to baby Hope Phillips, and whether Mr. Phillips or Mr. Garcia is her father, Mr. Phillips, you are her father. It seems as if these results really meant a lot to you. What are you feeling?
It's the best day of my life.
Good.
That's the best day of my life.
I could feel his heartbeat from across this room, waiting to find out if this little girl was his.
Of course.
You started a sexual relationship based on just sex, and then it ended because neither of you felt like you could trust the other person because you always thought they were having sex with somebody else.
Right.
There's a saying, live by the sword,
Die by the sword.
die by the sword.
Right.
You all have to decide whether you're willing to make sex a component of a real relationship or you want to keep it as an extracurricular activity.
Right.
But you better learn to communicate on one issue, and that's that baby girl.
And that's what we've been doing.
Mr. Phillips, you've shown your emotion. I know you love this little girl. Diamond, I expect you to be a sparkling, shining father. Are we okay? With that,
All right.
court is adjourned. Mr. Clark, you have petitioned the court for a paternity test
Yes, Your Honor.
for your 4-year-old daughter, Jay Leona.
Yes, Your Honor.
You question whether you are her biological father because of her mother's sexually promiscuous lifestyle.
Yes, that's true.
Now, you say that her job as an exotic dancer has torn your relationship apart. And if the results today prove the child is yours, you are planning to seek sole custody.
Yes, I am.
Now, Ms. Probst, you admit to cheating on Mr. Clark, but state
Yes.
your job does not make you a bad mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
You admit that you were unsure who Jay Leona's father is because you had an affair around the time of conception.
Yes.
Now, you say you're hoping today's results will somehow put your fractured family back together.
That's correct.
So, Mr. Clark, what is the hardest part about the possibility you may not be Jay Leona's father?
Well, Your Honor, I honestly and truly believe for the last 4 years of my life, I've been living a complete lie.
You're not living a lie.
Yes, I am. I don't believe she even has a clue or idea who the father's name is.
So take me back a little bit. How did this relationship get to this point? You're together and you're happy.
Well, this is how it happened. I was in Job Corps.
Okay.
I was working to get my CNA, nursing license.
Okay.
I met her at a party. She's a very fun, loving girl at that particular time. Took it easy, fell back. I went to school. Whenever I came back for a New Year's party, that was the first time we had sex. That was 3 months prior before we had sex. Everything was cool. Throughout this course and this time, she became a totally different person.
So when you met her, she was one way.
Yes. And
thought
afterwards, she was the next. She was something else. She was just a complete liar. That's how I see it.
I was not a liar. How was I a liar?
That's why we're here today. She's already admitted to cheating. She knows this.
That's not being a liar.
Yes,
I
it is.
admitted to cheating,
Cheating
which
is
means
lying
you
and lying is
asked
cheating.
and
It's
I
the same
admitted
thing.
it. That's not
It's the
being
same
a
thing.
liar.
I don't even have to look at you to even say that.
All right, so Miss Probst, let me ask you. Now, you admit that you were in a relationship with Mr. Clark, but then at some point you cheated.
Yes,
And
Your
lied.
Honor. I did not lie.
You
yes,
cheat
Your
and you
Honor.
lie. It's the same thing.
Yes, Your Honor. Basically, how this happened, I had went to a party with a friend that I was working with at the time, and I had seen this guy that I liked. He got my number, and I slept with him that same night, and I found out I was pregnant.
And this was admittedly around the time of conception.
Yes, Honor. I have
Your daughter.
a calendar. Can I show you that? I had submitted it to the court. Around Labor Day weekend, I slept with this guy and Anthony. So right there on the 1st is where I slept with the other guy. Everything in
Okay, so
yellow.
on September 1st, indicated in green, you slept with the other guy at the party.
Yes, ma'am.
In yellow are the dates that you slept with Anthony.
Yes, ma'am. They told me my conception
So
date
Jay
was
Leona
around
was
that time.
born in June.
Yes, ma'am.
So as we count back, that first week in September would be the week of conception.
Yes.
During which time you slept with both guys.
Yes, Your Honor.
When did you learn that she had slept with someone else during
Well,
the
actually,
time of
I'm going to
conception?
give you an example. You know, we had intercourse one time. She took a shower. I went through, you know, her phone. I found texts to men. I found pictures of herself, texting photos, sending those to other men, and even
That
talking
was
about.
made up. I
No,
sent
it wasn't
the
made
photos,
up.
Your
Your Honor, I
Honor.
even have proof right
I
here,
sent
right
the
now.
photos,
but like I
but
was
I
saying, like I
didn't.
was
I
saying,
did
I
it,
even know that she has texted men of sexual favors for money. Those are things that I know for a fact.
That's not true.
Your Honor, I have
So-
pictures right here. I have evidence.
Jerome, can you hand me these photos, please?
Here you go, Your Honor.
So these are photos that while you were in a relationship, she was texting out to other men.
Yes.
Your Honor, if I may say, those photos that he found in my phone, I had put those in my phone and sent them just to see if he was going through my phone. A couple months before that,
So you had set him up with these photos?
Yes, ma'am. But
That's a
a
lie.
couple
That's a
months
lie.
before that, I was texting a guy from a club that would come out who was one of my money men, and he had seen some text
One of your
messages.
money men?
Yes, ma'am. One of the guys that come and see me frequently at the club that pay me good money. So he had seen where I had been texting this guy, and he took it upon himself to call this guy back and, you know, tell him she has a man and all this, and I lost that client. And we had agreed, you know, he's not going to go through my phone, I won't go through his phone, and when I was in the shower that day, that's how he had found those pictures.
There was cheating, and you admit to it.
Yes.
Mr. Clark, you stated to the court that you have a close relationship with Jay Leona.
Yes, I have a special bond with my daughter.
Please.
Whenever she goes to school, you know, she speaks proudly of me. She talks about her dad to everyone. When she goes to church, she speaks about her father. I'm the last person who gives her a kiss and a hug. Her mother can't beat her to do that because she's, quote unquote, having the time of her life.
I'm not having the time of my life.
I'm supporting my daughter the way I believe
I'm trying
you
to
should
work,
have to.
Your Honor, and support me and my children, which
You don't have to do
I have
that.
to do on my own anyways. I have to do that to support me and my children. He doesn't know what it's
like
like.
I was saying, Your
He
Honor.
doesn't know what it's like to be passed around from family member to family member.
Like I was saying,
The
yes, I do.
money-
Yes,
no,
Your Honor.
you don't. You have a great
Your Honor, like I was
family.
saying, I have deceased parents. What she has to understand is I will never rob my child of that opportunity to have an open household or a healthy family, period. Doesn't matter what your job is. You can get a healthy job and not do the things you do. That's his point about how I see it.
We've established that she's cheated. We've established that the paternity is at issue. Now, Miss Probst, is exotic dancing just the career
Stripper.
of your
I'm
choice?
an exotic dancer. No, Your Honor. I had a rough childhood. Me and my family never got along. My father was never around. I just want for my daughter to have the father that I never had. I had to do what I have to do to be able to provide for me and my children. The money is going to be spent the same way.
Wait, now how many children do
not.
you all have together?
Two.
So he's already helping to support and take care of your
Yes,
other
I try to
child
make
and
a
Jay
serious
Leona.
plan.
Recently, what you have to understand is that whenever I was from the beginning, you know, when I was doing this, I did lie to him about dancing. I told him I was going to be stripping, and I had to do what I had to do, like I said, to make a better way for me and my kids, because at the time, he was not helping me pay any bills. He was not helping me with anything in my apartment, but he had so much to say about it, but did not have a problem helping me spend the money that I was
that's not the
making
point.
from the
I
club.
believe that's not the
Okay.
point.
Now, are you reaping the benefits from Ms. Probst?
Not at all. It's not about
Yes.
the benefits. The
Yes.
benefits you can do
No,
so
it's
much.
about the benefits. I don't know anybody that just exotic dances for their health. You exotic dance
Thank you.
usually.
Well, first off, when
money.
she takes her money and she spends it on clothing, you know, that's one thing.
For the
I
kids
spend it on
and
clothing,
myself,
but she also
yes.
pleasures herself. I do a lot of self-sacrifices. I put schooling on hold once upon a time while she put her career of stripping on a pole that's so healthy for her providing for her kids. But at the same time, I put education on the hold to work a 9 to 5.
I put
my
education on the hold every
to bring in a
day,
hard-earned
every
check
day,
that I can
every
benefit
day.
from my taxes and one day have some insurance for my child. Health care, she gets none of those from stripping. Those men can't take my kids to the doctor. They can't run them from daycare to daycare. I can, and I have to provide for those things,
So
not
let me ask
those
you
men.
this. You've never partaken any of the proceeds from this job.
Well, maybe a sandwich.
A sandwich.
I never
nothing.
went out
He's
shopping with
lying,
her
Your
money
Honor.
at
yes,
all.
Yes, he has. I
No,
bought
I
him
haven't.
clothes.
No, I
just
haven't.
As well as I bought myself clothes. I provided for my children, Your Honor.
So, Mr.
I
Clark,
have.
as soon as she got this job, you said, no way, you don't want her
knew
doing
from the
this.
beginning I didn't like it. Out of my love out of her and her disrespect for me, I still allowed it to go on because I truly loved her. I never had a family. My parents are deceased. So therefore, with my parents being deceased, I want to have a family. It's something I earned for this. I want it. Every day I wake up, I see my daughter, I'm proud of her. Just knowing that the fact that she could or could not be mine, yeah, it hurts me, but I still go on every day.
Why has it taken you 4 years to get to this point?
I wanted it to be to a point where I can tell my daughter, face to face. She's still not at that age yet, and this has been an issue since day one. When she was born, I had a feeling. She told me she was pregnant when she was 3 months along. I feel if you was comfortable and you knew that I was the
already
father, you would have
knew,
told me day one. You
Your
ruined the
Honor.
best day of my life, my opportunity to be happy for myself and my family by keeping this secret.
I did not
and
keep it a
therefore, I knew
secret
suspicion. I knew
because
something
you
was up
asked.
from the beginning.
I could have just been like, yay, I'm
No, you
pregnant.
could have told me when it happened
I could have told
at
him
the
that
same
I was
time.
pregnant without telling him there's a
And
possibility
now,
of this
at what
not being your
point
child.
did you tell him that he may not be the father?
I did not tell him right away, which I should have, but I was confused. Like I told you, I did not know who was the father of my child. I did not want to ruin the relationship that we had. But, whenever he asked, your stomach looks like it's getting bigger. Do you have something that you want to tell me? I told him, I'm pregnant, and there's a possibility that you might not even be the father. So I told him. He knew.
Why does it take for me
he
to see
knew
your stomach
before
show
our
for me to ask
child was
questions?
born
She should have
that
told me she
he
was
may
pregnant
not
from the
be
beginning.
the father of our
That's just
child.
period.
So it's not
There's
like
no other way around.
she's 1 or she's 3, and I'm just like, hey, dropping this bomb that you may not be the father. He knew. He wasn't even there to sign the birth certificate. He was not even with her until she was like 6 months old.
So, Mr. Clark, you have known this from birth. You've been aware that potentially Jay Leona may not be your child.
Yes.
And yet, you still went ahead and established this beautiful relationship with her.
Yes, I have.
I think that's wonderful.
Thank you.
I think that's admirable. Tell me a little about your relationship.
She's special to me. She's a joy of my life. When I see her, I get a glimpse of what I could possibly leave her, as a legacy of myself behind. Know that I can raise her the right way. It makes me proud. It makes me proud to be a father. I always wanted to be a family guy anyway. I call myself a proud dad. I even got a specialized T-shirt made at home,
The results of this test are very important to you.
Yes, they are. They're critical.
He is a great father. There's no doubt in my mind that he is a good father, which, I pray every night that he is the father of my child because I want my daughter to have her father in her life. I've never had my father in my life. He was never around, and this other guy, like I told you, it's very embarrassing.
Where is he?
I had like I told you before, I met him at a party. I tried to look for him a couple times, and he lied about his name. I found out through a friend that he's deceased.
Okay.
She originally told me it was a one-night stand, and this is how the lies build up. That's how she originally told me. It was
I did
a
not
one-night
tell
stand.
him that it was
Yes,
a
she
one-night
did.
stand.
She told
Why
me it was
are
a
you
one-night
lying?
stand.
Why
You
are
see,
you lying?
Whenever she first broke it down to me, it was supposed to be, oh, I made a mistake. Oh, it was an accident.
Because I
really
did make
love
a
you.
mistake. People
then
make
I find out
mistakes
from a
all the
friend.
time.
I find
People
out
make
from a
mistakes
friend
every day.
that she actually been seeing this guy. I didn't know about
That's
this
not
calendar
true.
thing until today.
That's not true.
To see those just proves it's all in the pudding, You're a liar.
Mr. Clark, I can't get past the fact that you've known from the beginning that there was doubt.
Yes.
And yet, for 4 years, you've been a good man, a good father. You obviously love this woman.
Yes, I do. I love my child more. And if I get these results today and the child is mine, I won't sole custody.
Your Honor, he took my kids away so that
didn't
we've
take your kids
basically
away.
not been together for two months. And the agreement was, you know, I'm going to take them until I want you to find a better job because I feel like you're making a bad example for our kid.
Have you been looking for a better
Since
job?
he's been gone those 2 months, I've enrolled in school to go to dental assistant school. So I start school in 2 weeks. I just want to save our relationship and just find out if he is the father of
So,
my
Mr.
child.
Clark, she's saying that she's making strides to change her life because you've asked her to do so, and probably on her own accord, she wants to make sure.
Yes, Your Honor.
She's told so many lies. I don't believe that.
You don't have to
until
be
until
there.
that day actually start. That's when it begins. And just because you a month in school or you had a job for 2 weeks doesn't mean it's gonna be all gravy
See,
then.
Your Honor, he
this
acts
goes
like
on for
he's
4
better.
years.
He always
She's
acts
the type
like
of person
he's
she
better
lies to
than
get what
me.
she
He
wants.
always acts
and that's
like
pretty
he's
much
better
But,
how it
Mr.
is.
Clark, you gotta admit she's gotta start somewhere.
I mean, she does.
You know, if she's gonna try to enroll in school, find another job, be a dental assistant, you gotta decide that you're gonna support her, encourage her for your children's sake. At least she obviously wants to change, if not for your sake, for the sake of your family as a whole. Isn't that a start?
Yes, it is. It's just to the point where my mind, my feelings, my emotions are exhausted. It's been four
It's not
years
about
years
you,
of
though.
nonsense.
It's not about
and after
you.
that, you get fed up. You know, you're right. It's not about me. This is a paternity court. It's about my child. I will be there as a dad, and I will support her, with Jayliana, speaking of. But as far as maintaining a relationship with her and knowing that's something she betrayed of me, I couldn't do that.
I don't agree
It
with
is a
that.
mistake
But
you made.
you
You're
already
gonna be paying
knew,
for
like
it for a
I
long
said, there's a
time.
50-50 chance
true.
of you being or not being the father, and that's why we're here today. I mean, I pray that he's the dad.
All right, well, let's go to the results. Jerome, do you have the envelope? Well, let's go to the results. Jerome, do you have the envelope?
I certainly do. There you go,
Thank
Judge.
you.
You're welcome.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics in the case of Clark versus Probst. Mr. Clark, when it comes to 4-year-old Jayliana, you are not her father.
I'm sorry.
Don't come over here.
I'm sorry, but you already knew before we
No, it doesn't.
came
It
there
doesn't.
with
It
the
doesn't. It
kids
doesn't
that
matter.
you might
It
not
doesn't.
be
It
her
doesn't
father,
matter.
though.
I'm going to continue, providing for my child. She will always be my daughter, through thick and thin, no matter what the results. If I wasn't her father, obviously we all know she doesn't have one. She doesn't have one. Without me, she doesn't have one. I would not allow some guy from the club or some guy from the street, pick up where I left off, because nobody can do that. So I'm going to remain being the father I need to be.
Mr. Clark, not only is that commendable, that's what real men do. I've listened to many cases before this court, and sometimes there's a pause before a man steps up and says, well, I'm still going to step in and be her father. But with you, there was no pause. And I have to acknowledge that because it speaks to the love you have for her.
I have deep love for that's my baby.
And now I have to keep it real with you. That apology you gave, you're going to have to do better than that. Because you are one lucky young lady that despite your missteps, you still have a man that stands there and says without a shadow of a doubt that he's going to raise your baby girl as his own to make sure she's okay. And regardless of what you two do, as parents, the important thing to this court are those kids. And you all have got to learn how to co-parent together. The kids are counting on you. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Court is adjourned.